On this episode of the John 1911 podcast, CMP issues 1911 prices, the dangers of hero worship, the cruise missile returns, and the 1,000-yard range update.
Good morning, everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 95 of the John 1911 podcast. How's it going, Freeze?
It's going good.
Good. You sound good. So are you on your computer?
No, I'm on my phone.
Oh, it sounds really good.
Yeah,
You must be holding it up to your head then, instead of using speaker.
No, I'm on speaker, but I'm at my bar, so it's kind of like, 6 inches away from my face.
Okay. All right. Well, that probably helps. Well, it's been a while since we've done a podcast because we both have been busier than one-armed paper hangers.
Oh my God, this week has been insane.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, we've got just so much going on. I mean, the real short version is we both got so busy that I even had to push back the dozer work for the range. So,
yeah, it's, let's see. Let's see, gun-related stuff. I actually went to an indoor pay-as-you-go range for an hour of range time. And, God, you know how much I hate doing that.
Oh, yeah.
I hate indoor public ranges. I like to do my own thing. I hate to be on a time limit. I hate to be around other yahoos out there, sitting there shooting their Desert Eagles right next to my ear,
Hey, for the record, I will have the jury know that you taught me the phrase of deagle, so don't get too high and mighty.
Yeah. But I had to. I needed to get some range time in. And let's see. Other than that, the only thing is I put a sling on the Howa. Woo. That's it. And that's all the time I was able to squeeze in. I've just been so crazy busy.
Yeah, I was talking to Freeze earlier. I guess it was last night. Right now it's about a little bit after 6 a.m. And he was like, "Yeah, I did some shooting." And I was like, "Were you at one of our ranges?" And you mentioned this gun store, and I was like, "Holy shit! Do we go to gun stores?" So then I was like, "Well, did you see anything cool for sale there? Like a Hudson, or maybe like the new Sig P210?" And you were like, "I didn't really look." Oh boy, I want to kick your ass.
Well, okay, this place they have a pretty nice indoor facility. They have a 25-yard pistol range. It's pretty high tech, and they have a 50-yard indoor rifle range. Which is
you can do a basic 0.
Yeah, exactly. But man, their prices for guns and ammo are just so ridiculous. Like I was in there probably a year ago. Matter of fact, I think I even took a picture of it, sent it to you. They had a box of American Eagle 44 mag hollow points on the shelf, and the price was like $48.95. It was knocking on the door at $50, and I'm like,
for American Eagle?
American Eagle, and it's like,
isn't that reloads? Aren't American Eagles reloads?
No, I don't think they're reloads, but it's not high quality stuff.
Oh God.
I mean, it's basic range ammo, and it's like, I mean, and they run sales, and when they have sales, they have decent prices. I jumped on they had some PMags for $9 a piece, about a year and a half ago. I jumped on,
okay.
They were older generation PMags, but hell, PMag for $9, doesn't hurt to pick up a couple. You know,
No, not at all. They were probably not windowless PMags, I would
yeah,
assume. I'm
yeah,
not all that down on PMags.
no, they were windowless, but still at $9. Hey, you look, grab two of those bad boys. I mean,
Sure.
um,
Didn't you say they had actually, because when you told me this, I thought I misunderstood. Didn't you say they have Smith & Wesson stripped lower receivers?
yes. I asked the dude. I said, "Do you guys have any stripped lowers?" And he's like, "Yeah, over there in the case." And right now they have a suppressor case, and then they have a stripped lower case. Which,
Wow, a dedicated stripped lower case.
yeah, and I don't know. They had all the douchebag lowers. The ones with all the cool guy graphics on the side. Spikes Tactical and all that crazy shit. And which I don't give two craps about. And I was looking at their prices, and it was like, yeah, the cheapest one they had was $100. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to pay $100 for a lower. But what was interesting is they had an MP15 stripped lower, and it was $100. But it's like, you know what? I'd pay $100 for a Smith and Wesson lower.
See, I mean, I guess my question is that lower, was it kicked out by Smith, or was that something somebody did?
No, these were Smith and Wesson. I mean, they
So
were.
you don't think it was from like somebody ripped it off a gun for
No,
whatever dumb reason?
these were brand new.
Well, you know what? That's why Smith & Wesson makes money and Ruger loses money.
Well,
Did you hear Ruger sales are down 20%?
yeah,
22%?
I heard they were down. I didn't hear
Yeah.
the percentage.
I heard it was 22%.
But
I mean, Smith & Wesson is a smart ass company.
yeah, I mean they are. They have a good market share. But look, from Smith and Wesson's standpoint, everyone is doing AR builds. AR builds are the flavor of the fucking day because it's like building Legos. Any moron that can have two brain cells that'll spark when they touch can build an AR.
Yeah, that's not really building it. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, like a guy who builds a 1911, it's a lot more technical ability than it is to build an AR. When you're putting together an AR, you're like Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
Most of it's press fit, yeah.
I don't say this to make anyone ass hurt. I don't want anyone out there who's built, 15 ARs to get ass hurt because I called them a potato head or said they only had two brain cells that spark when they touch. I'm not saying that. But look, don't fool yourself. If you think you are this grandmaster gunsmith because you build an AR, you are not. ARs are Legos. It all snaps together.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the ability to set a detent, you're good. I mean, there's nothing to it. But with that being said, everyone's doing it, and I think that's great. I think everyone should build their own ARs. Nothing wrong with buying them, but hey, if you want a project, build one. They're fun. But from a Smith and Wesson point of view, if everyone's building ARs, hey, why don't we kick out lowers? Why don't we kick out our lowers and let them build on our platform? It's
sure.
smart.
I mean, yeah, that's very smart.
Yeah.
I mean, you generally gravitate towards building whenever you want. I generally just buy, and because I don't, my tolerance for chasing function is so low because I'm also not as handy as you are. So we just always approach it from two different areas. But at the end of the day, you take a gun that I may have $2,000 in, or whatever, and you come from the other direction, you're functionally building the same gun for half the price.
Exactly.
Sometimes less than half the price.
Look, you can go out and spend $600, $700, $800 on a pre-made AR, and there's nothing wrong with that. Regardless of the brand, it's going to be a fine AR. and it's going to function fine. You're going to have a good time shooting it. But you can shave $200 or $300 off that price building it yourself. Maybe more if you're really budget minded. But, you know, I mean, if cost is an issue, then by all means, build it yourself. You'll have sweat equity in it. You know, you'll have time because, you know, you'll have to buy all the parts, you'll have to assemble it, and, you know, and all that. But if you don't mind that, if you're a tinkerer, you like to, you know, if you have the time to tinker and the area to do it and you're budget minded, then that is definitely the way to go. And there's nothing wrong with it. As a matter of fact, we have, we're going to be having an AR come into the workbench. I was talking to a cousin of mine a couple of days ago, and he was just like, man, I got an AR that's just not functioning right. I didn't get into details. I don't even know what brand it is. It's an off the rack. It's not a build. He bought it, and he's having jam issues. And
just to interrupt, is this the cousin that has the bulldozer?
No.
Damn. Okay. All right. All right.
No, it's not.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, you know, drop it by one day, and I said, you know, we'll look at it.
Yeah, you'll look at it. You'll get it running.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pull the trigger, be like, nope, don't work. Here you go.
Oh, you know, shit. It's an AR. I mean, you know, a function check's not going to be hard.
Yeah, I mean, you just make sure everything's basically tolerance and assembled correctly, and make sure it's getting enough gas, and then make sure it's not getting too much gas. I mean, you're 90%. You're 90% there at that point.
Well,
because beyond that, instead of miking and filing on parts, you just buy and replace.
Oh,
hey,
with an AR, it's always buy and replace. Seriously,
yeah, it's not like a 1911 welding stuff off and then filing it back down. Hey, I'm going to give you and your mama, because yesterday was Mother's Day, a late Mother's Day gift.
Yeah,
because we haven't been talking that much because we've been real busy. And you remember the concept we have of the cruise missile, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have this. Freeze came up with this idea, and what it is there are these people in life, and they are bound and determined to destroy themselves. And no matter how hard you try to knock them off course to save them from themselves, whether it's the universe or society, they are so dumb or so bass backwards that they just come right back on course like a cruise missile destined to hit their target and explode.
Yes.
And this one is George Zimmerman. Have you heard the latest?
God, yeah. God, I heard this, I don't know, what, a couple of weeks ago?
About probably less than a week ago.
Oh, my God. It's like that guy is, he can't help himself. I mean, it's to the point I almost feel, no, I don't even remotely feel bad for the guy, but it's like, oh my God. I mean, the one guy in the fucking world that you think would bury his head in the sand and keep the lowest profile, he can't help himself.
Look, I'm not even going to talk about the case of George Zimmerman. Well, here's the latest headline. This came out this morning at about 12:15, so it's 6 a.m., so this came out while I was sleeping. George Zimmerman's alleged stalking victim fighting to get his guns taken away. Now, the long story really short is, I guess there is either a private investigator and or / an author who is communicating with people in George Zimmerman's circle, trying to, do an investigation so they can write a story about him. So George detected this and apparently has started threatening this person or these people. So he's been charged with stalking. And what's happening now is this person, I guess he's former LE, he is trying to have whatever charge Zimmerman is up on, whatever they rung him up on. He's trying to get it upgrade. He's trying to supersize him up to a felony so they'll take his guns away. And
Yeah.
apparently Zimmerman is, I guess he's, crazy, whatever. But I don't know if you remember this. This is, I mean, look, I'm not talking about the Trayvon Martin situation. That ruling was probably correct. But what I'm talking about is Zimmerman's cruise missile mentality that put him in that situation. Do you remember there was a story, probably a year ago, and there was a car sitting outside of a gun store in a parking lot, and guys sitting in it, and it's sitting out there for hours. And so somebody was concerned, and they were like, man, is somebody casing out that gun store? So, they said, hey, there's a suspicious vehicle sitting outside this gun store, maybe in a strip mall or whatever. Can, just check it out. It doesn't look right. Strange. I don't understand it. So the cops roll up, they make contact, and it's George Zimmerman.
I remember.
And Zimmerman goes, I'm providing security for the gun store. So, the cops are like, all right, okay, hey, stay right here. Everything's cool. We're just making contact. You haven't done anything wrong. We just, got a call. So they go into the gun store and they make contact with the owner and the people in the gun store. And they're like, is that your security guard? You have a guy in security outside in the parking lot? Because we got a call on it. And they're like, oh, goddamn, that's just George. He likes to sit out there. And, and it's just like, again, it's not like, oh, this is Marky and Freeze sitting outside of our favorite gun store trying to help a buddy. You're George motherfucking Zimmerman. And you should be counting your blessings.
That you're
in
prison.
Yeah. And, and he's putting himself in this situation. They don't want him to do this.
Well, and if you remember about maybe 2 years ago, he was involved in a shooting incident again.
But you know what? I think that was justified. No. But, you got to kind of ask yourself.
It was justified, but here's the thing. Okay. Unlike the movies where the cops can sit there and shoot 15 bad guys in a movie and never have to go up against, any type of review board, the truth is, okay, you get into a shooting and it's justified and you walk away. A year later, you get into another shooting and it's justified and you walk away. Eventually, someone's going to look at you and go, dude, why are you getting into all these shootings? Eventually that shit will catch up with you because the average person goes through their entire life without having to shoot their gun at someone.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, this guy is a cruise missile. He is destined to end up dead or in prison. And, you can make the argument about justified and legal and, we're not even making an argument, but you and I both know a lot of people that claim to have bad luck truly have poor decision making skills. And old Georgie boy, man, that guy is just, I just don't even understand how he has all these problems. It's just crazy. Hey, speaking of crazy, did you the guy's name is Joseph. He's a regular on our Facebook page. He sent us a private message of a video. Did you see this of the Glock?
I saw the post. I didn't watch the video. I was on my phone and I couldn't get it to fire up. So no, I haven't actually seen it.
It's only a few seconds. Like, I may grab it and post it. I don't know. It's technically somebody else's video, and that might be an issue. I may do a screen grab. So, okay, you probably don't know what this is. Do you know what a Roland Special is?
Yes, actually, I do.
Okay. Well, hold on. Maybe just make sure we're not a Roland Special gun. For all I know, a Roland Special might be like a muscle car from the 70s. Okay, a Roland. I think I lost it.
No, I'm here.
Okay, a Roland Special pistol. So anyway, what that is these kids are taking the Glocks and they're putting a red dot on it and a mag well. usually a Glock 19, and they're putting a threaded barrel on a big compensator on the front of the gun. And so the whole point of it is to make the gun shoot flatter. That way, with the red dot, you could run it faster, follow-up shots. And, that's fine. There's a whole argument for or against compensators on defensive guns, especially shooting from attention. I personally subscribe to that.
Yeah, there's an argument for defensive gun, but if you're a competitive shooter,
yeah, but these guys, I'm losing you. These guys are running these as defensive guns. Well, here's what happened, and it's on video. So this guy's shooting this gun, and I don't know if I have to look at the video again. I don't know if the Glock threw the brass back at the shooter like the brass to the face. It ended up bouncing down the slide, and there's a hole in the top of the compensator, and the brass dropped right into the hole completely. And then the next shot, and it collided.
Holy crap! What are the odds?
Well, you know what? I mean, that's one of those things where people. I mean, dude, I've seen brass. I have seen brass flip. I mean, I didn't physically see it with my eye, but I've seen the result. I've seen brass flip through the air, drop straight back down into a gun, and go in reverse into the chamber. And a gun try to close on it because it just bobbles wrong. And now you are doubling your chances of a weird bobble with this brass into the. I mean, so now here's the thing. If you and I want to start another business, we could come out with a quick compensator business with a bar across the top of the compensator so brass can't fit down in it.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah,
so, hey, let's talk about the bulldozer issue, or what's going on with the range, because we haven't really even talked about it too much with us yet.
No, we've been so busy; it's just hasn't come up.
Yeah. So here's kind of what's going on. We had a big 40. What is it? 80,000 because that's 40 tons. A 40-ton bulldozer was supposed to start tearing up the new rifle range a week ago today, and I'm running a lot of I'm running a lot of numbers, and I'm looking at things. And actually, if you are in this area, if you want to see what the standards are to build rifle ranges, if you go to the Department of Energy's website, the federal government, everything in the federal government is defined and controlled by somebody. And most people don't know this, but federal gun range instructions and regulations are published by the Department of Energy. So I'm like, we need to try to be DOE compliant here on some stuff, even though it's not a public range. I'm looking at things, and everything's working out, and it would be DOE compliant. But one of the things that I worried about that I hadn't really considered was it shooting over a berm, because we got to build a big berm at this one area, or shooting through the berm, because you can get, whether you want to do 9mm, 5.56, 308, or 50 BMG, they give numbers as to how deep your berms have to be able to eat those bullets. And, the thing is, it's easy to build a berm to eat a bullet down low, but to build a berm to eat a bullet up at the top, that starts to get to be a really wide berm, which is fine. But one of my concerns was just the way the land falls in this part of the property. Wasn't somebody shooting through a berm, because that's not going to happen, or somebody shooting over the berm. That's really not going to happen. My biggest concern was the way the land falls is if you're being conservative and you're trying to get, let's say you're trying to get on to the 1,000 yards and you don't want to shoot over, or you don't want to overdo it, you come in short. And so, and then you're looking at a bounce.
Yeah.
And I didn't like I didn't, the ground shouldn't bounce at this location.
Well, but here's the thing. It shouldn't, but you have to account for it because you can't go into it going, well, it shouldn't bounce, but if it does,
And that's what I didn't like. I didn't like the 1,000-yard. I didn't like the pitch of the property at the 1,000-yard mark. And so the thing is, if I just move, like, I don't know, it's probably less than 5 degrees, but it's a lot. I mean, that's a lot more work. The land at the position, the pitch of the land at the 1,000-yard mark at that location is, I mean, it's basically a flat wall. I mean, it's a vertical face. I mean, dude, how steep is that valley face?
Pretty good. Okay. Moving the position, I mean, and I'm an advocate of moving it. I know it'll cost more money. I know we got to cut through at least one hill, if not two, to get it. But honestly, from a safety standpoint and keeping all the bullets on the range, I think it's got to be done.
It does, because the whole point of the property is the 1,000-yard. And it's like, and that's where, because again, like at 1,000 yards, you want to be sure that you're hitting the target. So you're kind of walking it in, because that's the thing. A lot of people, a lot of our shooters, 300 yards, you're going to be damn close. You're going to be in the impact zones 4, 5, 6. A lot of people shooting beyond 600 yards, you're not even really sure. Like, here's a perfect example. A lot of people don't know this. At 1,000 yards, okay, I'll explain it like this. If you're at Camp Perry and you're working the pits, the rifle pits, where you raise up a target and you lower a target and, you're scoring the targets, and it's 1,000-yard match for 308, they tell the guys working the pits, for the 1,000-yard matches, stand up against the front wall towards the shooters during the 1,000-yard shooting, because a 308 at 1,000 yards is coming down like a mortar.
Yeah, is so high.
And yeah, because it literally will land about 10 feet behind you in the pits. And when you start thinking about lobbing bullets, I wasn't really worried about the horizontal, like 338 Lapua, or the really fast stuff. I started thinking about things coming in like a mortar and bouncing short, like 45-70.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 45-70. Shit, that thing is. I mean, that thing.
That's like firing a cannonball. I mean, here's the thing: all that Hollywood stuff and all these guys that shoot 45-70 to 1,000 yards, that's great, and we certainly will do it. I mean, if I can see it, I'll probably need the scope. But I mean, that is like the definition of throwing a brick through the air.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about. And here's, and it's like, so I was like, okay, if we get a bounce, where is it going to go? And I did the probability analysis for the worst case scenario bounces, and I didn't like where it was going. It would have been fine, but I can't sleep at night. I was like,
here's the thing. We get bullets bouncing off the property. We're running the risk of having to shut down. That's just a real case scenario. I mean, it's just something that we can't have happen. The problem.
And the thing is too, but the truth is, anytime you're shooting in a rifle range, and anyone, and no one wants to admit this, but bullets shoot up into the air. If you ever go to Knob Creek and watch them shoot tracers, watch where the bullets go.
Just go to YouTube and watch a Knob Creek video of a night shoot, man, and look. I mean, it's amazing amazing. Those things are going everywhere.
So yeah, so I was like, all right, if I'm not, I had to start thinking about the goofy rounds. 308's coming in like a mortar. 4570's coming in like a mortar. And then it's going to be like, oh, hey, let's try to shoot this crazy shit at 1,000 yards that no one ever does, because let's see what happens. And it's like, dude, I have to start looking at this, and it's like, all right, I need to take into account the bounce and the impact zone beyond the bounce. And the fact is, less than 5 degrees to the left makes I have a completely safe bounce zone that goes for another, thousands of yards. And it's unpopulated, and it's like, there's no trails, there's no structures, there's no fields, there's nothing. And it's just like, it's like, all right, I'm going to have to fucking move this. So anyway, so then, the bulldozer guy reached out to him. He was like, well, I'm really glad that you actually guys want to bump it back, because we're kind of jammed up on this airport project. And I'm like, crap. So that's where we're at right now. So it is now May 14th that we don't have the 1,000-yard range done.
But I think in the long run, this is definitely the best decision to make. I mean, again, it's more expensive, it's more work, but man, I'm telling you, I think in the long run, it's going to be better. But also, the original plan where we were going to originally put the 1,000-yard range, we can still work with that area. Maybe not at 1,000 yards, but there's still 500-600 yard capabilities there.
Oh, easy. There's 500 all day.
So it's not like it's wasted space. It's just more money to put something else in there later.
Well, you know what? For the listener, the best way I can describe the property is basically to the, if I was looking down the property from the shooting position, to the right, it looks like it's hay fields and cleared and fairly level, and to the left, it looks like the cross between the Grand Canyon and like the Blue Ridge Mountains.
Yeah.
Imagine the Grand Canyon with trees on it. And so pushing a bulldozer through all those canyon hills is big money. And that's what we're going to have to do. And you know what the truth is? That's why we bought the property like this anyway, because nobody wanted that property, because it's basically canyons and it sat for a long time. And we were like, holy crap, this is awesome. And that's why we bought it.
And so, I mean, I don't know, what did we do? We looked for a year, maybe longer, for a piece of property.
We looked casually, probably close to 2 years, but we actually had agents and people and trying to get stuff to work for a solid year.
Yeah.
Remember the one guy, he lost his job. He was a real estate agent, and he also worked at Amazon. And like, we're looking at some property, he got a call and Amazon fired him. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, well, we won't go into that, but I've heard Amazon's a really crappy place to work. But
yeah.
No, I mean, we looked at a lot of property before we came up with this one, and this one was like, okay, it's a good piece of property. I mean,
yeah, there. I will admit there was one that I liked. Better.
Look. If you are if you're a farmer, or you have cattle, or whatever the case is, it's a crappy piece of property. But if you're two guys that want to put in a gun range, this property is pretty nice.
Hey, I don't know if I told you this or not. Did I tell you that one of the farmers next door is thinking about maybe selling her farm, and she's heard of us?
You did. You did tell me that. We talked about it briefly, and I mean, I know we haven't talked much in this past week because we both been busy, but I want to think about a week or so ago, we touched upon it.
Yeah. And I don't want to go to it too much. This is just not a good time right now to buy another farm. But I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
Oh man, I know, but let's recoup some money first.
Yeah. So, hey, do you know who Tim Kennedy is?
No,
I doubt
I have
you
no
do.
clue.
Have no clue. See, that's interesting. Just, I mean, not that I'm surprised because look, I know you, but probably I would venture to guess 80% of the people that listen to our podcast to know who Tim Kennedy is. Now, and this is an example of, and I'm bringing this up. This is a little old because we haven't done a podcast in a little while. Tim Kennedy is, he's a Green Beret Special Forces guy. I think he's retired now, or he's gone into the reserves or National Guard. He's not active anymore, but accomplished, within his MOS, Army guy. But his real claim to fame is he's some kind of UFC fighter.
Okay.
So, excuse me. So, a lot of he was hooked in with one of those T-shirt companies that was selling all those shirts back when we were doing shirts that I'm not going to mention, but they did the shirts that were kind of like real.
Yeah,
gaudy.
I know who you're talking about.
Okay, so he's one of their guys. So, there's a lot of again, I'm not saying this to be mean, but there's a lot of, hero worship or dick sucking or butt fucking because a lot of kids, worship him. And that's really no different than Chris Kyle. And frankly, that's no different than a lot of people. Well, here's what happened. There was apparently a big brouhaha, and Tim Kennedy had to come out, and I guess he cleaned it up, or maybe he walked it back, or maybe he didn't. But Tim Kennedy came out, and he came out against bump stocks, and then he also came out and said you had to be 21 to buy a gun or a rifle or something.
So he's jumping on the same bandwagon everyone else is and being a big fucking douchebag about it.
Well, and I think that probably got its own life. And, oh my God, you don't understand and all this. And again, I'm not even having that conversation because, one, I don't agree with him because our regulars know this. But I think this is a good opportunity now that the story's gone a little cold to teach our listeners a lesson here. And what I call it is they say maybe you should never meet your heroes. Because, how you idolize them doesn't always match up to reality. So, insert your favorite. You're at home right now. Insert your favorite person, and you project all this shit on that person. Or, you feel like you try to find things that, that you find in common or maybe that inspire you. Insert all these people. There's another guy, his name is, I doubt you know who this guy is either. Guy named Jocko. He's a former Navy SEAL guy. Guarantee you don't know who Jocko is. I bet money. I'd bet $10 you actually don't know who Jocko is.
He is.
And there are people right now listening to this podcast that are literally falling out of their chairs. So, and I'm glad you don't know who that is. But this is a good point, and this is why I'm glad you don't know who these people are. If you were at home and you know who all these, if you're a star fucker. And whether it's a Hollywood guy or a tactical guy or a Delta Force guy or a WWE guy or a politician, you should not hang your hat on their identity as a reason to believe what you believe. I'm going to give an extreme example to prove a point that doesn't exist, but it's going to piss a lot of people off. What would a lot of our viewers and listeners think if General Mattis came out and said, I don't think a civilian should own an AR-15?
Oh, they would go insane. It would be pandemonium.
Okay, why? Okay, why? But why would they go insane? Why would it be pandemonium? Pandemonium. Can't say it.
Well, first off, General Mattis, is the ultimate badass, and everyone worships him. And to find out that, he's anti-Second Amendment, it would just destroy their hopes, dreams, and crush their soul.
But does it change? But if you're a true believer, if you believe in the Constitution, if you believe in the right to bear arms, if you believe in what you believe in, it's your definition of America. Does it rock your soul if Mattis comes out against your AR-15, or do you have enough personal intestinal fortitude to be like, okay, fine, whatever, you're just a general, like all the other goddamn politicians in Washington, and everyone knows to be a general, you got to suck some dick, so whatever. And I think it's a good lesson. I'm not a big fan of like star fucking people, and because especially hanging your identity on them. And I just thought the Tim Kennedy thing was really interesting to see the amount of people in our circle that kind of lost their shit on it. And again, you don't even know who that motherfucker is. You have
well, I mean, look, I am like, you've known me a long, long time, and I am like the people. I don't get impressed by other people's deeds and actions. I never have been. Oh, so-and-so's a Navy SEAL. Big fucking deal. It means he went through buds. Woo, woo. Who cares? Now, I'm not saying that's not a hell of an accomplishment, but I don't fucking care. I don't give a shit if you butt fucked your girlfriend's mother. I don't care.
But most of the time when that conversation comes up about so-and-so's a Navy SEAL, that's somebody else talking about somebody else. You know what I mean? It's interesting. It's like, okay, great. Well, he did all that. What are you doing? You're just star fucking this guy.
I mean, look, I've known so many special ops guys. I've got half my freaking family members that are military were in some kind of special ops. I've known cops, SWAT guys. I've known all these tactical guys, all these special forces guys. They don't impress me because you know what? I know their skeletons in their closet, and I know that they're average guys.
They're average guys, just like
here's the
everybody
thing.
else.
Okay, like for example, and we're not going to mention any names, but one of the recon guys I know, badass, if you career, you'll go, oh my God. And if you don't know this person and you just look at his resume, you develop this image in your own head about, how he's, Chuck Norris and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Rambo all rolled into one. But the truth is, if you actually know him, one, he never talks about his military shit at all. And if you met him for the first time, you wouldn't even know he was a special forces guy. Because
take it even farther. He's not even really a gun guy.
No, and that's the thing. I mean, even though, due to his current job, he carries one every day. But the truth is, I shoot more rounds through my gun at any one range visit than he does in an entire year. Because he's not a gun guy. He doesn't give two shits about going out and shooting guns. He stays proficient. Yeah,
but it's again, you hang all this shit on people because you're really doing it for you. And if you want them to run your life or to make the decisions or set the tone, you could be disappointed. Like this person that we're not going to name, if it was up to him, if we had a choice, we were like, oh my God, this guy's got to determine the future of the Second Amendment for the entire country for the rest of time. I'll be honest with you, I would not be really comfortable with him making those decisions.
Exactly.
Because I know he's not a gun guy.
Well,
but his resume every one of these dick suckers would be all over him
God.
if they could see his resume. All these forum guys, all these.
Honestly, if he ran a blog page,
if he was in social media,
if he was in social media, he would be a fucking superhero. So many hero worshippers. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but you see it with, and I'm not going to name any websites or people's names, but I can reel off the top of my head a dozen websites of guys like that people just, I mean, they, well, so-and-so said it on his blog, it's got to be, because look at his resume. Oh, big fucking deal. I mean, you know what I mean, yeah, he would be a rock star if he was on social media. I mean, he can't be on social media because of his job, but
yeah, we're not going to go into it, but yeah, but again, you hang all this shit on people, expecting them to be your preconceived notions or to walk with you lockstep, and you're going to be disappointed. So it's a pretty smart idea to go through life being pretty well grounded in what you know and what you believe. And you know what? If you don't know that much and you don't believe that much, that's fine. But it's always a good place to start from. At least you know who you are.
Yeah, no, that's sound advice. Unfortunately, most people won't take it or don't take it, but it is sound advice.
Well, that's on how social media, influencer marketing, and all that shit works. So, it's just it's a thing.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, let me see here. I was going to talk to you about the new Beretta, the M9. They've got you remember the Beretta they came out with? The Beretta came out with it to try to win I don't know what they call MHL. I can't remember what they called it. The modular handguns, whatever. Basically, it's like an FDE baby poop Beretta with a rail. They've apparently come out with one that's in black, and that's it looks kind of interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think those DASA guns are, look, the thing with the Beretta, I always kind of pay attention to them because I used to have to, we would have people that come through like military or cops, and that was what they ran. And so we had to be able to run them as well. And so, here's the thing, the Beretta's not going away. I mean, it's like the 1911, oh yeah, they switched from the 1911 to the Beretta in 1985. And, dude, I was seeing 1911s in military service well into the 2000s. It's like this we'll see M9 Berettas for the next 20 years.
Sure. There's so many of them. There's so many of them in service. They're not going away. Personally, I like the M9. I mean, I have no desire to carry one, but I mean, I like shooting them. They're good. They're great guns.
Yeah. And I just, I feel like maybe we should, I don't know. I've been looking, just kind of keeping an open mind. Oh, hey, Mossberg, you're going to love this. The little bullshit, like non-SBS shotgun with that little handle that's not a handle, so it's not a shotgun, it's a gun.
God, yeah.
Well, you know what? Mossberg has come out, they call it the Shockwave. Dude, Mossberg's got one out now in 410.
Oh, dude, I so love that.
I know you do, and I was like, oh, shit.
So because I love 410. I am a huge 410 fan.
How much does it cost to shoot a shot? 410's expensive, and I know you don't load 410.
Oh, no. Yeah, 410.
Let me see here.
410's expensive.
Oh, dude, check this out. Oh, no. They have a Shockwave in 410. That's a quote 590.
Oh.
I don't know what makes it a 590. I mean, I guess it's got, 2 action
Well,
arms.
it's probably just a 590 in chambered in 410, I guess.
Doesn't that make it a 500? I mean, I guess it's got a heavier barrel. Maybe it has a metal
I
trigger
don't know.
guard, but it's like, I don't know what makes that a
I
590.
don't know.
But they're actually they have it labeled. I'm looking at a photograph of it. A Mossberg 590 Shockwave in 410.
Oh, I love that. So I've got a 500.
MS. Let me see here. 6 shells, 3-inch chamber, 455 MSRP. But you know what I like about these Shockwaves is it makes it a lot easier to convert them to short barrel shotguns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's still kind of factory. You just register your paperwork and put a stock on it. You're good to go. I think we're both Mossberg guys, and I was like, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's very interesting.
I thought you would like that. So that came out of the NRA show.
See, that's actually something that I would buy.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah. I think 410 is the best home defense shotgun you can buy. You know?
I see. I am not going to go there with you on that, but
No, I'm telling you what. You have to put the right ammo in it, but Hornady makes a really awesome self-defense 410 round. They came out when the Judge first came out. Hornady developed an ammo for it. You put that in a little 410 shotgun, shit, you're rock.
You're basically shooting a 45 Colt at that point.
Well,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
See, what this Hornady round is it's got these little copper discs, and it's shot a copper disc, shot a copper disc, and I don't know how many staggers. I don't know if it's got 2 or 3 copper discs in it. So what's happening is you got the copper disc, the diameter of the 410, basically 45, it's basically a 45, but it's only like, maybe a quarter of an inch thick. So when you shoot it, you get the shot and the solid copper discs that are coming out. So you're not going to kill your neighbors. You're not going to blow up, you're not going to be, going through 3 walls in your house, but yet it's enough stopping power to put anyone down in a dark room when you're still half groggy and asleep. Dude, I'm telling you what. And you're not going to be bleeding out of your ears. You're not going to blow your hearing. I mean, because it's 410. It's, I'm telling you, 410 with the right ammo is the perfect self-defense home shotgun.
I would have to research the ballistics on that. I mean, look, I'm a big advocate of the 20 gauge. The 20 gauge shotgun is, especially for people that are, a little shotgun shy. I don't know about those discs. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see how that works. I mean, I've seen 410 where basically it's got a hollow point bullet in it, and it's like shooting a 45 Colt, which is very more than fine. So well, that's just kind of cool. So I don't know. Maybe we'll pick one up.
But Hornady has a whole line of 410 self-defense ammo out there, and I'm telling you, I mean, look, I'm telling you this. Just you don't have to agree with me on it or anything like that. I'm just saying that with the ammo available out there for the 410,
you know what? I know there's a good point to be made, and it's this: if you're a guy, you're at home, and you have a 410, that's what you like, and you want to buy some self-defense ammo, you're not stuck with squirrel rounds. you can buy some shit to hurt people. And at the end of the day, that's all that counts.
I mean, they even have Hornady even has a round out there, and I'm not real familiar with this round. I've seen it pop up, but I've never actually shot it or played with it. It's called like Triple Defense. And again, it's got like one big, huge buck ball in it, and it's got like a slug. And I don't want to, I'm sure there's people out there that know more about it than me because I haven't even really looked into it. But again, there's multiple platforms of solid self-defense ammo for the 410 out there that is man stoppers. And again, I'm not talking about blasting someone in the face with some number 6 bird shot, out of a 410. I'm talking about stuff that will put a guy down and put him down hard, and if you're in a house in the dark, groggy from sleep, again, you're not shooting a guy in your yard at 25 or 30 yards away. I'm talking about, a 10 by 10 bedroom or a 6 by 10 bedroom, guy standing in your door, you grab your shotgun next to your bed and blast them. That's what I'm talking about. Again,
oh, sure. Yeah, it's just
fantastic self-defense home shotgun, opposed to, using a 12 gauge loaded up with, deer slugs.
Oh, sure. Well, why not? Hey, here's the biggest surprise, because there's a lot we haven't talked about. Here's the biggest surprise, probably for us lately. CMP has come out with their 1911 prices. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have, and I will be 100% honest with you. I thought the prices were reasonable and decent.
I was shocked, but have you read the descriptions of the prices? Like how they're racking the So okay. So here's what CMP's come out with. They've listed 1911s by 4 categories. They have service grade, which is the highest. Well, not really. Service grade, field grade, rack grade. So service grade's high, field grade is middle, rack grade is lowest, and then they have a catch-all called auction grade, which sales will be determined by auctioning the pistol. Translation, if they pop up with a Singer 1911, they're auctioning that motherfucker off. So, or one that says Chesty Puller on it. So anyway, service grade pistol, 1,050. And that's their top grade. That's surprised it's that cheap. Pistol may exhibit minor pitting and wear on exterior surfaces and friction surfaces. Grips are complete with no cracks. Pistol was in issuable condition. Then they have field grade, 950 for $100 less. Pistol may exhibit minor rust, pitting, and wear on exterior surfaces and friction surfaces. Grips are complete with no cracks. Pistol was in issuable condition. And then their final lowest grade is called rack grade. And this is what surprised me. Pistol will exhibit rust, pitting, and wear on exterior surfaces and friction surfaces. Grips may be incomplete and exhibit cracks. Pistol requires minor work to return to issuable condition. I have not known CMP to sell a gun that wasn't, quote, issuable. Have they ever sold rifles that actually need to be worked on?
I want to think back in the old days when you could buy the M1 Garands for $100 from the CMP, and I'm talking back to the 80s. Yeah, I do believe you could get some. I don't know if they called them rack grades or whatever grades, but yeah, I think you could get some unissuable M1 Garands.
Okay. I'm curious. Pistol requires minor work to return to issuable condition. That's a very specific sentence from CMP. Mm-hmm. So what's their definition of minor work? Putting grips on it?
Yeah, it could be as little as that. But, I would imagine,
would they sell a gun that the extractor isn't tuned?
Sure.
Would they sell a gun without a bushing? I would think they would put a bushing in it.
I would imagine, look, with the exception of the grips, I would imagine the gun would be complete. But does it need to be adjusted and tuned and tweaked? And look, I mean, the springs could be all wore out in it. If you go to shoot it, I mean, if the mainspring's toast,
I know, but that would be something CMP would. I mean, springs are a
no,
given.
but if these are the beat up ones that are all rusty and pitted, they're not even going to look at them. It's like, is it complete? Yeah, okay, ship it. If this thing's
well, they typically go over the guns to make sure they work. That at least with
but
rifles.
Apparently not with these. If they're telling you that these may need work to make them serviceable, they're not going over them. That's what that tells you.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it that. They're just rolling them in and rolling them out.
Exactly.
Oh. Well, let me go ahead and read auction grade just to make it clear. So this is the one that says chesty puller on it, or, I don't know, whatever, whatever. Auction grade. Sales will be determined by auctioning the pistol. The condition of the auction will be described when posted for auction. The condition of the auction pistol will be described when posted for auction.
Yeah. See, those are going the auction guns, and this is me speculating because I don't know anything I don't know any more than anyone else, but those are the guns that are going to be the cherry guns.
Oh, sure. They'll have some kind of mark on them that they can trace historically to a unit, or to whether it's a division level or whether it's a branch level, or maybe to or maybe it'll be complete, like it'll be an all complete Remington brand or some, something crazy. I'll tell you what, it'll be really interesting to see, like what's the crazy pistol that's going to pop up like a Singer, and again, it's only 10,000 pistols. It's not
I was
that
just
many.
going to say,
the sample
the
size.
CMP's running through there, and all of a sudden there's a Singer or a Wilson Combat.
Hey, you know what? Okay, that brings up a really good point, and I'm actually going to go here because we've talked about this publicly, so it's not that big of a secret. So I was talking to these Special Forces guys, and they were in Iraq back during the war, and they had decided to pull 1911s from their armory. They had them. That's what they took. But what they were needing parts. And so I was talking to these dudes, and so they wanted parts that they could upgrade on their guns that didn't require a crazy amount of fitting. For example, one of the things they wanted to do is they had the GI grip safety on their guns, and they wanted to put a beaver tail on it. However, they did not want a beaver tail that requires you to hog out the back of the frame, because they're in fucking Iraq and they weren't going to do that kind of work. So we found grip safeties from Wilson Combat. We purchased the grip safeties, and how we got them to Iraq is I contacted somebody that I knew at a base that was their command, where their command was, shipped them to that person. That person walked them right into that unit. Then their support element, and they flew them over to Iraq. And I know those parts ended up on those guns. So will a 1911 from CMP come out of their system with Wilson Combat grip safety on it?
I mean, obviously no one's going to know, but stuff like that is possible. And these guns have been in service a long time, and they've been played with, and I guarantee you we're not the only one who's ever supplied aftermarket parts for some of these guns. And look, the truth is, guns like that will be the auction guns.
Maybe. Well, here's the thing. It'd be real curious, because again, it's only a sample size of 10,000. If I'm not interested in buying a CMP 1911, I have my old 1911. You have a couple of really nice ones. Mine doesn't even work. But if I saw one at CMP and it had a Wilson Combat grip safety on it, and everybody was shitting on it because that's not GI, I'll be honest with you, I may make a run at it because I would wonder if it was one of the guns that I helped with.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, I'm not remotely interested. What is the?
Oh, by the way, when you do that, here's the thing too for the people at home that don't know 1911s. When you change the grip safety to a beaver tail, you got to change the hammer, and then you're into the whole sear area as well. So we were buying like whole drop-in part kits.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not just grab a beaver tail grip safety and slap it on there, because beaver tail grip safeties and there's more.
And spur hammers don't miss.
No, not at all. But
yeah, so we were changing these guns out pretty significantly.
But what was the price on the rack grade guns?
You would do that.
Yeah, I know. I want to think.
The rack grade, what they're calling rack grade, is $850.
For a project gun, because you know me and I like my projects, I would pay $850 for a rack grade.
Damn, would you really?
Okay. If I want a project gun, I can buy a base gun a hell of a lot cheaper than that and build on it from there. To have a CMP GI frame and slide from whatever year or configuration it is, because you wouldn't know it's a rack grade gun. You'll get what you get. To break it down, rebuild it, dude, man, I'd love to take a rack grade CMP gun, swing over to Ed Brown's website, buy all his buy a whole his
pre-fit parts, whatever he calls
his
them.
hardcore drop-in parts, man. Just drop in all Ed Brown parts on it. Maybe switch out the beaver tail and hammer, to go, dude. That would be
a fun
put a new finish on it, And I know people are going, oh my God, you're stewards of history. Blah, fuck you. It's a rack.
How many 1911s did they make?
Dude, millions.
Is it in the millions? It's a lot.
Yeah, millions.
So
and it's just.
Well, you know what? Maybe we should get our World War I gun running. That's on my wall in my office.
Yeah, we could. I mean, I bring that back to life, but I kind of like it hanging on your wall in the office. It looks good.
Okay. Well, we get it running, so. All right. Well, you know what? We are John 1911, so no surprise. We find a reason to buy 1911s from CMP and to make them into project guns. So. All right. Well, this wraps up episode 95 of the John 1911 podcast. If you want to see more about what we referred to, either in the news or stories or pictures or videos, go to our blog page, john1911.com, in the comment section of this post, and we'll have some stuff there. And remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody,
see you later.